The number one reason your F&I department is stuck, it's not your finance manager. For the last 18 years, it's been my job to turn around underperforming finance departments. Every dealer I walk into asks me the same thing. What is your pay plan secret? How do you set up your menu? What does the best desk process look like? They want all the tools. They want all the systems, and I get it. When you're watching your F&I department flatline at $1,100 per car, and your competitor down the road is printing $2,000, and somebody in your 20 group is approaching $3,000, you want whatever they have because you've seen that it's possible somewhere else. So here's what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna tell you the real answer. I'm gonna give you this silver bullet, and you're not gonna like it because the real answer has nothing to do with the pay plan, nothing to do with the menu, and nothing to do with a word track that your trainer keeps trying to get your finance manager to use. The real answer is a mindset problem, and it's already inside your building. And later in this video, I'm gonna show you the exact moment when this mindset breaks and what happens on that first day when a coach sits in the box and runs a deal that your team thought was impossible. I've watched it happen over 200 times. And every single time, the same thing happens to the finance manager's face, and you're gonna wanna see it. All of the systems we developed over the last 18 years at the Assure Group, they're just tools, every single one of them. The menu order system, the upgrade architecture, the objection prevention framework, the coaching cadence, all tools. And just like a box of tools sitting in your service shop, they're designed to work, and they do work, but they just sit in a fancy red toolbox without a mechanic. That's why I have zero problem sharing our systems with you, the dealer, or any of my competitors can watch this YouTube video as well. I have no problem sharing you everything that I know. The reason why I have no problems is because the tools aren't a secret. The tools have never been a secret. The real secret, the real silver bullet that the dealer is looking for, it does not exist in a video. It does not exist on a piece of paper. It will not happen from someone walking into your store for 2 days and installing some new word tracks. The secret exists in the 6 inches between your finance manager's ears. There is a villain that has entered their mind, and that same villain has entered your dealership. And this is the one thing that I have found in common with every single underperforming finance department that I have encountered in 18 years of doing this. When that villain is not eradicated from your building, no tool, no pay plan, no word track will ever work the way it was designed. The mindset that is ruining your store is this. Your finance managers, the ones that have been sitting there for 20 years, and they have 20 years experience in an underperforming store, it's very simple. I just have a conversation with them for about 3 seconds, and I realize in their mind, the pie is only this big. That's it. It's a fixed pie. It's never gonna get any bigger at this store. In their mind, they know they're capturing that entire pie because they've been doing this for 20 years. And they believe there's a mathematical ceiling on what an F&I manager can produce in this building with these market conditions, with these customers. And they know your team has already hit it. Once that mindset creeps in, you will be stuck at average performance permanently. Not because of talent, not because of effort, because everyone in the building has collectively agreed on a number, and then they stop trying to beat that number. Now, be careful when you hear this as a dealer principal, especially who didn't spend much time in the F&I box. I know there's some dealers out there that they didn't spend a ton of time in the F&I office, and they might have to rely on the professionals that they hired to know that they're doing a good job, and that's why we hire seasoned professionals. But be careful, because your manager will be extremely convincing on this. I've heard it all. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know exactly what I'm doing. One manager told me, I've got socks that have been in the car business longer than you, kid. 20-year socks. And that's what I was up against. They bring all the facts and figures. They pull up their cash penetration numbers. They'll point at credit scores. Either they're too high or they're too low. They'll show you the call sheet from the lender and say, look, I maxed out this one call from this one lender deep inside this huge book. And this one lender gave us this one call that I decided to go with, and I maxed it out. Therefore, I maxed out the deal. All of it. They have all the facts and figures. Every single data point they present is a self-limiting belief wrapped in a spreadsheet. And they believe the pie at this store is fixed. It's only this big. And they've already captured every single crumb. Let me give you a real number. I walked into a store in the Pacific Northwest. The F&I director pulled me into his office and he closed the door. He showed me his board. $11.74 per car. 12 months renting. He said, Jeremy, this is what our market produces. I've been here 9 years and this is the ceiling. 9 years he had been looking at that number for 9 years, and he decided it was a natural law like gravity. 90 days later, that same board read $1,891. Same market, same manager, same customers walking through the same door with the same credit scores and the same cash pen and the same lease pen, and the ceiling was never real. But he needed someone to prove it in front of him before he could let go of it. That's the fixed pie. The pie is only this big in this finance manager's mind, and it might only be this big in your mind as a dealer principal. Here's why this is the most dangerous thing that can happen inside of a dealership, and why most dealers don't catch it until it's too late. Think about what happens when a finance manager truly believes that the pie is fixed, when they genuinely believe this store, this market, these customers can only produce, even the best out there in my store could only produce X amount of dollars per car. And you're going to show them numbers from your 20 group. You're going to show them all these facts and figures. And that finance manager will say, hey, I've been in this seat inside these 4 walls for the last 9 years. And I'm telling you, in my professional opinion, in my experience, the numbers you're seeing in your 20 group are not possible right here in this store. And if they truly believe that, why would a finance manager embrace a new pay plan that's designed for growth? In fact, they will fight you on it tooth and nail. So be very careful what you're going to learn in this video. They believe that they are already getting the whole pie. A new pay plan doesn't grow the pie. It just rearranges its slices. Why would they take a new word track seriously when they've been doing this for 20 years and they know that they're already capturing everything available? A new word track is just a different way to say the same thing to a customer who was already going to say yes or no. Why would they take the trainer that comes into your store every single week or every single month? Why would they take that trainer seriously if they truly believe that the pie is only this big and they're getting it all? The reality is they're not going to take the trainer seriously that's coming into your store. And the reason why is because deep down, the people that think the pie is only this big and they're getting all of it, they believe that people who come in and train are the people that couldn't do the job themselves. If they could, they would be on the other side of the desk. Those who can't do, they end up teaching. That's the quiet conversation that's happening in their head when your trainer walks through that door. This is why sending your finance managers to one of those hotel ballrooms to go see an F&I trainer, it's not going to work. In fact, your finance manager isn't even going to want to go. If they have this mindset, they will fight you tooth and nail on anything new. This is why flying your manager to a corporate conference room for 2 days to do role playing, it just won't stick. The numbers bump for 3 weeks and then everything slides back to exactly where it was. The tools worked, but the mechanic didn't believe in the tool. The best case scenario for your dealership when this mindset creeps into the store, it looks like this. Everyone in the store gets comfortable. The finance manager, the desk, the sales floor, sometimes even the dealer. Everyone in the building fully believes the pie is only so big at this store in this market with these customers. And because they have 20 years of experience, they know that they're getting the whole pie. The money's decent at the store. Nobody's in real pain. Nobody's fighting each other. Nobody's questioning anything. And you really kind of get this feeling, I might as well trust the person that's been here for 20 years, not necessarily what's going on in my 20 group, what I've heard from other dealers, but the person that's been in my store with me for 20 years. I should just trust him, and everybody's happy, everybody's making money, they're very, very comfortable, and you just get to this point as a leader, it's like, if it's not broken, then we don't need to fix it. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable. It sounds like a stable dealership. The numbers are consistent, the team is experienced, there's no crisis, but deep down you know that when everyone is comfortable with being average, when everyone has accepted zero growth year over year as just the baseline, something is very, very wrong. You just don't feel the pain yet. You've all had top performers in F&I. You know exactly who they are. You know they're wired completely different than the average person. How are they different? They are always learning, always pushing, always looking for that next level. They don't believe it's possible for themselves at zero growth. They have to grow every single year or they get very uncomfortable with themselves. And here's where the pain starts. Your top performers, the ones who know they were made for more, they will not tolerate being average. They will not accept zero growth. They will not sit in a building where the culture of the dealership has collectively decided that the pie is fixed and everyone is fine with their slice of the pie. If the top performer starts to believe that the pie is only this big here at your store, the first thing that they do is they leave. They leave your store. store. They go find a store where the culture is on fire with growth, where nobody is comfortable being average, where nobody is making very well researched, very well articulated excuses for doing the exact same thing they've done for 20 years and getting the exact same result. Top performers will leave your store, and that is when the pie will actually shrink. Now you're in trouble. And what I'm about to describe, it's the part that costs dealerships the most money. This is where the real damage happens, so stay with me here, because this is the domino that nobody sees coming. The people who were comfortable, the ones who believed the pie was fixed, they start to notice something. With fewer deals to process, with the top performer in sales gone, their slice of this fixed pie is getting smaller. They can no longer keep up. The income they gotten comfortable with, it starts to slip. And the reality is they're getting very uncomfortable because they built their life out to what it was like when the pie was this big, and now that it's smaller, they can't start to afford some of the things that they decided to do for their lifestyle. But they're still not willing to try something new because they still firmly believe they're already capturing every crumb of the pie that's there. And now that the pie has just gotten a little bit smaller, watch what happens next. The culture erodes fast. Longtime managers start asking for more money. Salespeople and other people in the store that are paid on a commission, they all start asking for more money because now the store isn't selling as many cars. They're processing fewer deals. All of their income has dropped. And then even worse, they look at the pie and they say, well, it's smaller now. For me to get what I need to pay my mortgage and get a vacation with my kids every year to keep up my lifestyle, I'm gonna need to eat some other person's piece of the pie that's in the store. And that's when the culture really gets terrible. But they still believe they're capturing everything that's available. So the problem must be the pay plan. The problem must be the volume. The problem must be the desk not sending them enough deals. It's never the process. It's never the mindset. It's never them. They will point their finger in every other direction except for themselves. And this is when the store becomes a full reset situation. Dealer hires new management, hard conversations happen, terminations happen, restructuring happens. The dealer finally pulls the trigger on all the changes they should have made 2 years ago. And sure enough, when they find the right leader, somebody comes in, installs a new system, and makes the tough calls. They change the culture, everything grows again. The pie was never fixed. It was always waiting for someone to stop accepting the ceiling. Hey, real quick, if you're getting value from this, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like on this video. Turn on the notifications. It's gonna help me more than you think. And look, when it comes to your F&I process, when you're ready for a real deal conversation about what's happening inside your store, just text me, 206-242-9851. That's a real number. I see every single message. All right, let's keep going. Don't wait for the death spiral. Don't wait until your top performer leaves. Don't wait until the culture erodes and you're starting at a full rebuild. The only way I've been able to remove this mindset from a store in the last 18 years of doing this is through a coach. Not a trainer, a coach. There is a huge difference. A trainer comes into your store for 2 days. They teach word tracks. They teach theory. They talk about what they did back when they were in F&I at one point in time, a long time ago. They do a little role play, just check the box kind of stuff. They hand out a little binder that they can self-study. They don't study it because they think they're capturing the whole pie already. And then they get on a plane. They send you a follow-up email and 3 weeks later ask how it's going. You say, great, binder's in the drawer. Nothing's actually changed. When a coach comes into your store, first thing they do is they understand that these finance managers that have this fixed mindset, they already know 99% of finance managers who have this mindset and 99% of dealers who have this mindset, they are going to need to see it before they believe it. They need to see it. So a real coach, not a trainer, but a real coach is somebody that's going to sit in your finance manager's office and do their job better than they could ever imagine it could be done. That's the only way to get that mindset out of the store. So a real coach is going to demonstrate this on your live customers, on your deals, in your F&I box, with your team watching in the room. And here's what'll happen. When you get your sales floor, your desk, and your F&I office all pulling the customer in the same direction with a new set of tools and a coach that is willing to sit in the box and prove that these tools work on your customers in your market, something breaks wide open. And it turns out, like I said, 99% of the finance managers and dealers, they need to see it before they believe it. That's the fixed pie talking. They need proof. They need to watch. A coach will sit in their chair with their customer at their dealership and produce a result that they believed was completely impossible. And once they see the cap sheets, once you see the cap sheets, you will never be able to unsee them. You could never go back to the pie is only this big sort of mindset, because they watch somebody sit in their chair and prove that it is massively bigger on their deals with their customers. If you're a dealer principal or a general manager watching this and something about this video hit home, here's what I want you to do. Don't go out and buy another tool. Don't fly your manager out to another hotel ballroom to hear somebody talk about mindset or word tracks. Don't change the pay plan one bit. Those things might matter later, but they don't matter right now. The first thing you need to do is get somebody into your building who will demonstrate on your deals with your customers that the ceiling your team believes doesn't exist. That's all we do. We've done it for 18 years at over 200 plus dealerships. We've done over 100 million plus in F&I revenue generated for our clients, and we do it through coaching, not training. We come in, we install, we stay. The system works after we leave, simply because the mindset of the pie is only this big is completely gone. When you're ready to stop accepting the ceiling, text me 206-424-9851. or click the link below, fill out an application, and book a strategy call. We'll look over your numbers, we'll diagnose where the fixed pie mindset is living in your building, and tell you exactly what a 90-day installation looks like for your store. We have been able to flip the store's mindset in just 3 days. 3 days. That's how fast this can happen. When the right system meets the right coach, your pie is not fixed. It never was. And when your team sees the proof, they will never believe in a ceiling again. And I just wanted to talk directly to the dealer principal or the general manager that's on the other side of this video just for a second. I know that you guys go to your 20 groups and you go to NADA and you're trying to grab some strategies and you're trying to make little tweaks here and there to the dealership for growth, and those things are going to help you grow. NADA is very valuable, your 20 group is very valuable, getting around each other is very valuable, but all of that stuff, nothing that you can learn at your 20 group is going to get you the result, the instant result that you're going to get if you can bring somebody into your store and flip the mindset. If you have heard a single finance manager in your building ever say something like what we talked about earlier, where I'm getting all the gross, I've been doing this for 20 years, I know what I'm doing, and this is how much you can do in this store because we're at this manufacturer, we're not at that type of manufacturer, we got this many customers, we got this credit profile. If you're hearing all of these very well calculated excuses in your store, you might have this villain in your store. If you could unlock it, your pie is going to grow immensely. I just want to remind you that you are the leader of the store. You are the hero of the dealership. We're simply a guide. We've been guiding finance managers to be able to flip their mindsets for the last 18 years. The only way I figured out how to do it effectively and quickly is through demonstration, because 99% of the dealers and the finance managers out there, they're gonna need to see it to believe it. So give them a chance to see it. And the reality is that you're the hero of the store. You can go back to your dealership and you can try to find little ways to kind of tweak things and optimize things to get some growth. Or you can recognize that the number one thing that you should be focusing on as the leader for the rest of this year, you've got to figure out how to make the pie grow again.